Hey everybody, how you doing? I hope your revision is going smoothly. Welcome back to another top 5 video. This time I'm going to be sharing my top 5 tips in terms of things to do when you're physically in the exam on the day. Okay, so not specifically like paper 1 or paper 2 or anything, general kind of on the day, but I will obviously be talking about psychology as, examples. So let's do it. Number 5. Read the full question. Read the full question, RTFQ. I know that sounds, really kind of generic, but what I mean is there are so many times, especially, under pressure on the day, you're feeling a bit stressed already. There are so many times where I see people or hear of people, missing things like when it says, at least one theory or at least one study or refer to at least one example or whatever it might be. Or, in research methods, when it says in this study or in the context of this study, so many marks lost there. People, writing an outline instead of evaluating if it's a short question, or, even missing that it says evaluate in there and just outlining. Things like, if you're doing the cognitive approach to treating depression instead of explaining, do yourself a favour, yeah? Read it properly. Underline, yeah? Even if you kind of coasted through GCSEs and it was all fine, do yourself a favour. Just underline the keywords, read it again, okay? Take an extra 5 seconds. It will support you, okay? Number 4, unload your STM at the start, okay? Now, we all know how it goes, yeah? You're going to get up a bit early probably on the exam. Well, I hope anyway. A lot of people are getting up early on the day of the exam and doing a last minute kind of bit of cramming, yeah? As you sit down, you're probably going to be going through maybe like your stats test mnemonics or, your bits of Bowlby's theory or whatever it might be, yeah? But you're going through that in your mind, or you're trying to, yeah? To compose yourself, to try and hang on to those last bits of knowledge that are slipping away from you. Use those first few seconds. As soon as you're allowed to open it, or, pick up a pen, you need to scribble down all of that stuff that's in your short-term memory. Dump it down on the page, yeah? Take 20 seconds to do that. Then you can breathe, yeah? That's in there. You don't need to be rehearsing that mnemonic until you get to a stats test question, which might not even be there. Number 3. Activate your LTM with cues. We talked about STM just now. Here, you're going to activate your LTM and you're going to capitalise on what you know from, theories of forgetting, retrieval failure, yeah? I doubt that you were panicking in your lessons when you learn material, yeah? What do you know about state-dependent forgetting? You know that if you're in a different physiological state, if you're in a different frame of mind, then that's going to hamper your memory, okay? So take a breath. Calm down, yeah? And that will support you. You know that a moderate level of anxiety as well is good for performance, but you can fall off a cliff with anxiety at the end. So just calm. Use the more physical elements as well, yeah? Think about things that are in your classroom. Think about your teacher. Think about how they sound. Think about what the room's like. Think about the posters that are in your classroom. Think of songs or tastes or anything else that you've associated with your own revision as well, yeah? Activate your LTM with cues. Number 2. Use research effectively. I've mentioned this in other videos, but you probably have learned a lot of studies. Yeah, psychology's full of them, right? Besides your key studies, I mean, yeah, a lot of those are probably for evaluation. Yeah, so don't waste much time kind of worrying about getting the names and the dates right and talking about the method or their sample or anything like that, because that isn't really relevant to what you're doing. Yeah, if you're using them to evaluate something, whether it's a theory, a treatment, or a key study, if you're evaluating, the key information to get in is, what did this other study find, and why does that matter for what you're evaluating? Yeah? So it might be, that a study found whatever it is, and this undermines the credibility of whatever it is that you're talking about, okay? So get that link in. But don't waste time talking about their methods. It doesn't really matter for what you're talking about. And number 1 is conclude your evaluation. Okay, it's easy to forget, but it really does make a difference to your mark, yeah, the level that you can get in an essay. If you do, like 3 or 4 evaluation paragraphs that are all like, one strength of this is, this person found, and you just leave it there, you are massively missing out for the sake of writing one extra sentence on each of your evaluation paragraphs, okay? As I said, it is easy to forget, especially, on the day under pressure, but it will make a big difference. So things like finishing your evaluation paragraphs with, therefore, this undermines the validity of Bowlby's theory, or therefore, this demonstrates that we must be cautious when applying that, whatever it might be, yeah? So just something at the end. Point, explain, conclude, or peel, that link at the end, yeah? Link back to the question. Link back to the theory or whatever it is that you're trying to evaluate, yeah? Often I see people, introducing another study as evidence, and then they will, go off on a whole, massive paragraph about how, but we can't really use this because it's a case study, and, it's idiographic, and it's not generalizable, and fine, okay, but none of that actually addresses the question, until, at the end, you go, and because of these issues, this undermines the support given to the theory, which means on balance there's only partial credibility, or whatever it might be. There's limited support available for Bowlby's ideas, or whatever it might be. Yeah. So link that back at the end. That is my number one tip for actually in the exam, okay, for psychology. There you go. I hope there was something useful in there for you. Let me know down in the comments. Keep going. You got this. Remember to breathe. Bish bash bosh.